Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Last of Us. This one's going to be doing another Q&A video after the premiere of The Last of Us Season 2. You guys wanted me to go ahead and do a Q&A video for The Last of Us, and I figured it was a good idea to do so because, of course, and then we are back with Episode 2 already. This season, I feel like this season's going to go by really quick because we only have 7 episodes. It's not going to be a long run, but I'm very curious to see how they do Episode 2, especially after some of the preview photos that we just got for that episode. I gotta say, I'm quite curious. I'm very, very curious to see how this is all gonna go. So, episode 1 reactions from a lot of you guys. A lot of people are split. Some people love the episode. Some people thought it was mid. Some people thought it sucked. Some people, were kind of in the middle. You know what I mean? It was all over the place. A lot of people were kind of just, here and there with the episode. So it was definitely a divisive one. I think it was definitely a bit of a story staller, but I'm hoping that episode 2 we get right into it. It looks like we do. It looks like episode 2 we get right into some of the game material, which I'm looking forward to seeing. And of course they're going to do original stuff for the show, but I do think episode 1 could have moved a little bit faster for a 7-episode season, but it is what it is. So, let me know your thoughts, though, down below. How is that premiere aging for you guys? And, well, let's go over some of your thoughts right now in this Q&A video. First one comes from Jacob, who says, Dan, do you think that we will see them adapt the massive, massive moments from The Last of Us Part 2? I don't want to spoil, but you guys know, if you know, you know. Do you think that stuff will be adapted, or do you think the show will change it? Keeping it the same, 100%. I think Neil and Craig have been very open about that, is that they're keeping a lot of that game the same. You know what I mean? I think the biggest difference that we will not see in the show is that Abby doesn't have a bunch of muscles, you know what I mean? I think that's like the biggest difference we're going to get. I think the bulk of the story, the main plot of the second game will be adapted, yes, including that big moment, which I do believe is going to be happening this Sunday, yes. I think this weekend, this episode is going to be that moment from the video game that we all know very, very well. I'm curious to see how they do it. I'm curious to see how they adapt it. It's definitely a risk for the show, and I don't know how it's going to pan out when it all goes down, but I'm hoping that, they adapt it in a way that at least makes, somewhat sense, and I'm hoping that it is good, because I will say there is some build-up towards it already happening on the show, and those who know, you know. It's one of them ones where it's like, okay, you can tell that it's going to happen. You can tell it's going to go that way. It's just a matter of when it happens. And I think it will be this weekend. I don't see a reason why they would push it off anymore. And admittedly, I kind of want them to get it over with, because we all know they're going to do it. So I hope that they get it over with. But I am very curious to see how it's going to be adapted. Because like I said, that's not an easy thing to adapt. You know what I mean? And yes, I'm not spoiling the games for everybody. I know some people are saying, Dan, just say it, I don't like to do that. I don't like to spoil the game for people, and I'm actually glad that you guys, as well, were not spoiling it in the comments, because it is good that we keep it, spoiler-free for people that just watch the show, because it's not, it's not fair to them, right? They should be able to play the games if they want to on their own time, you know what I mean? So the only time I really spoil the game is like during like a prediction video or like a breakdown video of like, upcoming stuff. I usually do it there just because that's how I'm able to predict what's going to happen next. But if it's not that, or if it's just a Q&A or a review video, I usually do not spoil The Last of Us game, because I want people to still be surprised and still be able to watch the content regardless if they've played the game or not, because the show is very popular on its own as its own thing as well too, right? So, not everybody read the comics of The Walking Dead before watching the show. Not everybody read the Invincible comics before watching the show, you know what I mean? So it's the principle of it, really, and I'll continue to do that in these videos. At least the videos that aren't predictions or like breakdown videos for upcoming things, I am going to just straight up keep it non-spoilers for the game, because at that point people will be able to predict and people will be able to kind of go over what they thought without having to, be forced to play a, 40 frickin' some, hour game with both of them combined, you know what I mean? So, it's definitely, I think it's just proper that way, But anyway, next one comes from BreakingBrian, who says that, Dan, Do you think that Ellie and Abby are a little bit insufferable, and do you think that that is the point? Do you think the writers are doing a good job? Well, I mean, I'll say this with with Ellie. I mean, yeah, for sure. You guys, I've heard my thoughts on that. With Abby, I mean, Abby, it's kind of hard to say because we haven't really seen much of Abby so far. I mean, Abby is kind of just getting introduced to us on the TV show. I will say though, and I've said it many times before, I am down with Caitlin Denver as Abby. I understand that the actress is getting a lot of hate for some reason, which I don't understand whatsoever. I think she's done a fantastic job already, even in the small scenes that we've seen her in. I think it's a massive improvement from what the game did. And I think a lot of people are upset because she's not as buff as she is in the game. But again, like, that's the thing. To me, that was always weird in the game. So I'm glad that the show is not doing that, and I'm glad that the show is going forward and not treating it like it's, I don't even want to say the word, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm going with this. So I'm glad they're not, doing that, right? So I'm glad they're not going that route with it. And I mean, the show has gone that route many times before, so I'm glad that this time they're not going that route. If you get what I'm saying, you know what I mean? So it's the principle of it, I guess, really is what I'm trying to say. And I think in the show so far, Caitlin's a great actress, and I've always said as long as the acting is good, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? And to me, that's what matters. It's not always about the visual representation. I mean, yes, that helps. Yes, I think certain actors on this show could look more like their game counterpart, of course. But I think Abby's an example of one that I think they've actually improved on the show. And I'm seeing a lot of people that are coming out here and saying, like, oh my God, she's so short compared to all that. Like, guys, like, what the hell, man? Like, seriously. Like, I'm sorry. Anybody that's standing out there complaining about how short she is or how she's not buff enough for Abby, y'all seriously, like, need to, like, get off the internet for a while, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm sorry, man, like, there's way more, important things to complain about, you know what I mean? I don't know, there's casting issues in this show, for sure, but to me, that's not one of them, and I don't look at that as a problem, I really don't. I think Caitlin's done a great job already, I think she's gonna continue to do a great job, and I think that, we ought to give her a chance, you know what I mean? And I, for one, am definitely giving her a chance, because I think that she's already defeating a lot of the problems that I had with that second game. So it is what it is, right? The next one comes from Nella, who says that I gotta say the ending with Abby showing up outside of the Jackson community at the end was really exciting, hella good, and very excited for episode 2 this week. Yeah, that was a great scene. I like that cliffhanger a lot because it sets up for what's gonna happen next, right? Not to mention, I mean, we're seeing, that Jackson is definitely going to be under attack probably next episode, right? So it's pretty exciting to see Abby show up. And, you got to give it to her, man. She's been traveling for 5 years to try to track down the man that killed her father. I mean, that's a loyal daughter and then some, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's a lot more to that story. We're going to learn more about it, of course, but it's cool that they kind of introduced that idea and they kind of introduced that concept at the beginning, and I think it is really cool to see, how war-driven she is and how realistic it is, you know what I mean? I talk about this all the time, and I talked about it in the game as well, too, is that, Joel saving Ellie, I mean, there are consequences to his decisions, you know what I mean? Sometimes there are people, and this is the angle I like to look at it with The Last of Us, and I think the show is doing a really good job of it so far, is that, if you kill someone in the apocalypse to save someone you love, sometimes there will be other families that are affected by your actions. And that's what we're seeing with Abby, is like, she had someone that she cared about, and Joel killed him. And Joel killed a lot of people, you know what I mean? Yeah, Joel was doing what he needed to do to save his daughter figure, but also, Abby has people that she cares about too, and we're seeing both angles of it, you know what I mean? I think it's done in a really, really cool way, and I think overall they've done a good job with it so far. I'm definitely vibing with how they've done it. It's really good. Finally, we have one from Epic Zombie Killer who says that, Dan, I gotta say, I'm very much enjoying the scenes between Joel and Dina so far. I like the interaction with them in episode 1, and I thought that was really cool. Also, Dina's really cool. Yeah, I like Dina in the show. I think Dina's really cool. Dina, is awesome. I think they've chosen a great actress for Dina. I like seeing that they're adapting a lot of the things from the game. I think that's really cool with her. I did like her interacting with Joel, yeah, because it is like, it shows you a little bit of, the it just makes the community feel a little bit bigger, you know what I mean? Like Joel not always just interacting with Ellie and Tommy, you know, interacting with a few other people and stuff like that. And I think Dina is good. I think they picked a good actress for Dina as well too. I think she's really good. Yeah, I think they've done a good job with that as well, too. So, yeah, those are some brief thoughts that I've heard from you guys about episode 1, and kind of the first episode in general. I will say I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm hoping it's good. I'm confident that it very more than likely will be. We'll be reviewing episode 2, of course, come this weekend, of course. I reviewed episode 1 on Sunday night. I didn't think I'd be able to squeeze it in, but I did. So if you guys want me to do that again on Sunday night, if y'all are down with that, if you want late night, you know, Dan reviews, videos like that for episode 2 through 7, I can do that because I'm going to watch the episodes first and then, I'm going to come on back and then do a review. So I might try that out again this weekend because it did pretty good. And I would like to continue, doing that, right? So I don't think we'll be doing any more Last of Us videos before Sunday, so I do wish you all a great viewing experience, although we'll probably talk about it minorly in the Let's Chit Chat video, but I do hope you guys enjoy episode 2. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been looking really good. The promos and trailers and everything have looked fantastic, so very excited to see what they do with this episode. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe. Don't you miss any other videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for The Last of Us. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shed a TV light.